Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today, which is Christmas Eve, filming this because I wanted to get my favorites of 2021 up around Christmas so I can fit in all my conclusions of my project pan and pan that palette and empties and all that kind of stuff by the end of the year. So I did reflect on my 2020 favorites that went up a couple of days ago. So if you want to see that, I'll have it linked down below, along with all the products I talk about today and any reviews that I did of them. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because I filmed this yesterday and it got too dark, so I had to scrap the footage. And I don't want that to happen again today. Now, truthfully, 2021 for me wasn't a big year of testing new makeup. We were in lockdown for a long time and pandemic mumbo jumbo. So I sort of wanted to just focus on using up my collection. So I was more into project panning. I started a Pan That Palette series. So those have been my main focus. So the products here aren't all new to 2021, but I fell in love with them in 2021. The only base product that I really liked this year, and I have two of them in different shades, so clearly it means that I liked it enough to want to get like a winter and a summer shade. These are the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealers. Now I have the shade Custard and Cannelle or Cannelle, and one is a winter shade for me and one is more of a summer shade. So these have pretty much been my exclusive concealers this year, and the one that I've used the most is the lighter one, the winter shade. I've got a massive dent in it, and I can just imagine hitting pan on that soon because I've used it so much. But what I love about these is, look, the shade range, they've extended it recently. They unfortunately extended it just after I bought these two because these are a little bit warm for me, but the cool tone ones are a little bit pink toned. So they've since brought out some like more neutral toned shades. They're probably the ones that suit me the most, but these do a good enough job. What I do love about these though is just the consistency. I find this sort of moussey formula, which is like, again, it's a soft matte formula. It's really easy to blend onto pretty much all bases I've tried. It doesn't crease under my eyes. It doesn't make my mascara transfer onto it, which like sort of sticky, more hydrating concealers tend to do that for me. I just feel like this is such an easy to use concealer. Fingers, brush, sponge, it all works. And even if I'm just having like a no makeup day and I would just have something a little bit under my eyes or around my nose, you can pick up a small amount and this just blends really well, that you can sort of blend it really thinly as well. So you can build it up or have it quite sheer. So yeah, I just think this is such a good product. I love it. All right, onto face color products. I've got no foundation, powder, setting sprays, primers, none of that I've sort of tried this year that have stood out as being favorites. And most things I've just been using things that I've had in my collection for ages. So none of that mentioned in my favorites this year, but I do have a bronzer that I really love. This is a cream bronzer, again from NARS. NARS pops up a couple of times in this video because they've been releasing some cool stuff. So this is the Sunkissed bronzing cream in the shade Laguna. This was, I think it's part of their summer collection and it was limited edition. Now this is the shade Laguna. They also had Casino, which is a bit deeper, and similar to the concealer, it's this beautiful moussey texture that blends really, really nicely. I am wearing it today. I know you can barely see with this washed out lighting, but I'm filming as the sun is sort of setting and it is what it is. I really like this. I haven't used it heaps because I have been panning my Cannelle bronzer. There's like barely any left in there. This is more of a warming, subtle bronzer, whereas this is more of like a bronzing bronzer. So there's a little bit of contouring, a little bit of coolness, but the good thing about it is it blends really beautifully and even on my skin and my base. So I've got oily skin, so I like to use a matte sort of foundation, and I set it with powder and I make sure it's nice and set down so it doesn't move on my skin. I can still go in with this and it doesn't apply patchy. It does blend really nicely. So this is a really nice performing cream bronzer, and yeah, I think they should make it permanent because it's lovely. For blushes, even though I was panning a blush palette this year, and I've made some good progress on that. So that was the main blushes that I was using. But whenever I wanted to treat myself and try something a little bit more different, the one I reach for the most, and this is not new to me this year, but I discovered how much I love it this year, It's this one here, and it is by 3 Concept Eyes or 3CE, and it's the shade Soft Salmon. So it's a very, very almost like neon orange. I'm going to zoom in and turn the ISO down so you can see it better because this looks really light, but it's almost like fluorescent orange. I'm not too sure if that shows it a little bit better, but you can see it's a really, really sort of vibrant, peachy orange blush. Now I am wearing that on my cheeks today with no highlighter, so this is a matte blush, but I really like it when I want a bit of color that's quite uplifting. So when I want something that's not just nude, I want to have a little flush to the cheeks, but I don't like pink blushes because they don't really suit my coloring as much as I would like. So having a peach works really nicely, and having this sort of like neon peach adds a bit of brightness, but it's just really flattering and really sort of like, yeah, flushed cheek, but not bright pink, and I really love it. So I'm wearing that today. I have applied it quite heavily so you can see it, but it just adds a beautiful peachy sort of orangey flush to the face. So if you like this tone of blush, this is a really fun one. I would have mentioned my M Cosmetics serum blushes because I mentioned Venetian Rose last year. It means I won't mention these, but I still love this formula. And if I want something really, really glossy, high shine, I still reach for these, but I mentioned them last year. A sort of runner-up, which is not a favorite, but I sort of respect it, is by Lisa Eldridge. So I did try her new sort of cream blush, liquid illuminator, and a lipstick this year. Now, to be honest, I had so much hype about Lisa Eldridge that I think I was a little bit disappointed. The liquid highlighter is pretty, but it's not something I wear on a daily basis, and it is a little bit finicky to apply. The lipstick is lovely, but is it standout in my collection? Unfortunately not. It is very pretty and I'm happy to wear it, but I don't think it's worth the hype, just personally. So the thing that I was most impressed with was the cream blush, or the cream blush in a tube. Now I have heard this format is really crap for a lot of people because it's quite firm. It's almost like a moussey product, and you really have to squeeze it quite hard to get it out, and that means that you can actually pop the packaging, which sucks. So this is called the Enlivening blush, and it is in the shade Pink Soap. Now this is a really pretty, just basic pink nude shade. It is leaning a bit too pink for what I like, but it's very similar to M Cosmetics Venetian Rose. It's got a little bit of mauviness to it, a little bit of sort of skin tone to it, so it's not a bright pink blush. But what I love most about this is, as you can see, you just keep blending, and it just blends seamlessly. So if you just want a small amount, you can really blend it out. If you want to build it up, you can. But this just blends itself. And I don't think I've come across a cream blush that blends on my base anyway, as well as this one does. So it's a little bit of effort getting it out. You got to be careful with it. The effect is not as beautiful and illuminating as the M Cosmetics serum blushes, but if you have had issues in the past with blending out cream blushes, this one, you just have to tap it on with your fingers or buff it on with a brush, and it just blends in seamlessly. So even though I don't use this as much, possibly because of the color, I think it's a really, really beautiful formula. So that's more of a runner-up sort of shout out product rather than something I reach for time and time again throughout the year. All right, onto eyeshadow palettes, and this year wasn't a big, I wasn't super inspired by eyeshadow palettes this year, but I do have some that I quite liked and I do want to mention. In the past, I've been a bit of an eyeshadow junkie, but I think this year, looking at how many I had and feeling quite overwhelmed by it and seeing releases feel quite repetitive, I wasn't super inspired by eyeshadows, but I wanted to talk about a few that I've been using quite a lot and a few that still excite me. There's going to be reviews on pretty much all but one of these, so I will link those down below if you want to see more detail about them. The most recent one I got was the NARS Bijoux palette. This was their holiday palette. I am wearing, not that you can really see in this lighting, but I am wearing one color from this along with a matte palette in here. This is just a really beautiful palette that's got a nice amount of depth to it. It's got some sparkles, it's got some shimmer, it's got some satins, it's got some mattes. And even though it is a little bit dark and it's a little bit murky and a little bit berry toned for me, the shimmers are really, really gorgeous, like the sparkly shades, and I feel like this is such a nice all-rounder palette. I do really like NARS formula. I think even though it's not the most pigmented in the world, it applies really, really nicely and is really flattering on aging skin and skin texture issues and all that kind of stuff. So I thought this was a really fun palette, and I still like to keep it in my top drawer because it's one that I enjoy delving into occasionally. The next favorite was, and it's also what I'm wearing alongside that, which again, you probably can't see, but this is the Hindash Beautopsy palette. Now Hindash released his first product and it was this, the Beautopsy palette this year, and then later in the year he released a liquid eyeliner. I also love that liquid eyeliner, but I haven't used it enough to consider it a favorite, so there's that. But I do really respect this brand. I think Hindash has done a great job at releasing quality products and putting a sort of innovative spin on things. So what I love about this palette is it's a multi-purpose palette. Yes, it's all matte, which is not my everyday jam, but it's got this beautiful ombre pan action. And what that means is that, okay, yeah, you can use this as a blush, you can use that as a blush, you can use this as a contour or brow products or whatever. You can use this all over the face. I find it works best on the eyes personally. And I also feel like for the quality of this and the price, I probably wouldn't put it all over my face because I know that, like, for a bronzer, for example, I can use it up fairly quickly. So I wouldn't waste these on my face. But on the eyes, they're really, really gorgeous. I feel like what I love about this is that it's not going to be pigmentation that wows you off the bat, but it is a palette that performs really nicely in a sense that you can, it blends itself almost like the Lisa Eldridge cream blush. I feel like these mattes just blend beautifully and they apply quite sheerly, but you can build them up. So if you want this intense red, you can get it. You just have to sort of apply a small amount and go back in and sort of slowly build it up and it gets to where you want to go. So I love that about these because it means that they're like, you don't really mess them up, if that makes sense. These are just really easy to get a flawless look. So I love these. I also love the ombre pans because it means that even though you've technically got 2 shades in a pan, if you reach for the middle section, you've got a mix of the 2. So it's more like you've got like 3 or 4 shades in one pan. So I find that this is really fun to just dip into different areas. So like for today, I was dipping into this pan a little bit and I was also dipping into this pan a little bit and mixing and matching. I feel like this palette is sort of intuitive to make you mix and play around. And I really like that because it sort of brings back the artistry into makeup, which I really dig. So quality of this is fantastic. The shades aren't things I reach for every day. I don't like pinks on the eyes. I don't love reds on the eyes. I don't mind them, but not every day. So this is sort of a palette that I sort of keep around. So if I'm going to put on like a pressed glitter or something and I want mattes to complement it, I know this is always going to be a well-performing matte palette, but I can't wait to see what other color stories he brings out because I would love to see something that maybe is more eye focused, so it doesn't have the pinks and stuff, that is more sort of face based, if that makes sense. But I love this. I think the quality is beautiful. It's really great. Another range that I really loved this year, and I didn't expect to love this as much as I did, it's actually from Sigma and it's a Cinderella palette. I just really like everything about this. Okay, it's not the best quality in the world. These mattes don't rival Hindash. I'm just going to put it out there. But there's a beautiful mix of like metallics, sparkly shades, traditional shimmer shades. Then you've also got your mattes. You've got the 50-50 split, so it sort of goes matte, 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 and then shimmer, 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 shimmer. I think the finishes they chose for each color are really smart, and I really like how they've broken it up. So you almost have like your typical nude section here, a bit of a blue green and a bit of a gold purple there. And I was using this like a few weeks straight because I didn't want to put it down. That's how much I like this. So even though it's not a color story I want to currently wear every day, I really enjoyed this. I think it was really beautiful. And in fact, I like the whole Cinderella collection. I like the brushes. I like the cheek duo. This sort of peachy pink blush and this highlighter was gorgeous. I didn't use it as much as my 3 Concept Eyes one. And I also really enjoyed the liquid lipstick in this beautiful nude shade and the sort of nudie, shimmery, sheer lip gloss. I thought individually they're beautiful and laid over the top they're beautiful as well. So that whole Cinderella collection, I really liked. I thought it was really well done, and it's something that I keep, whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh, it creates such a beautiful makeup look. So I did do a review on these if you want to check that out. A couple of runner-ups. So these are sort of noteworthy palettes, but not things that I probably used as much to consider them favorites. Firstly, I pulled out the Sigma Ambiance palette. I didn't really think much about it until I used the Cinderella one, and then I was like, wait, I'm really digging the formula at the moment, so I should pull this out. And this has become my summer palette. I've been wearing this a lot. When I actually originally filmed this video yesterday, I was wearing this palette, and I am not wearing it today, but this is just a really beautiful brown, like warm toned brown palette. There's some goldy shades, but I would say it's more of an orangey, warm toned brown palette. And even though it is very redundant, I just think it's really nice, and it's something I want to reach for. And again, it does have this nice split of mattes and shimmers, so it sort of alternates mattes with shimmers. And I just feel like the difference in textures, there's some a little bit more sparkly, they're more like topper shades, there's some that are more traditional shimmer. I feel like these are the colors that I want to reach for at the moment in summer. So this has been my jam at the moment. I do think some of the sparkly formulas do benefit from being applied over a glitter glue if you want a really intense look. But I love this. I love the brushes that come with it. And yeah, not like, it doesn't represent the year for me, but it definitely is representing summer for me at the moment, because that's what I've been mainly reaching for, at the detriment of my Pan That palette series. Lastly, I wanted to mention two colorful palettes. One, I don't know where it is. I think it might still be in a box, but it is the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. Now, that is one that surprised me. It's not going to be something I wear every day, and it's not something I wear every day, but the color story was actually really beautiful, and I was surprised at how much I love the looks. I love grungy greens, that's not a surprise, but I didn't expect to love them so much paired with pastels. So that was a pretty standout palette for me in terms of colorful palettes. And then also Kaleidos did the Club Nebula palette with Angelica Nyqvist, which I thought this was such a good palette. Again, they're not colors I wear every day, so it's not one that I've reached for too much this year, but I feel like how Angie curated this palette was genius. I think the colors are beautiful. She's got some sort of more duochrome shades, some topper shimmer shades, some really, really beautiful dark, rich matte shades, and I think this creates such fun, colorful looks. Again, I'm not a huge colorful eyeshadow person, so I'm not rocking this on a daily basis, but if you're interested in this color story, I love that, of course, you've got the blues and greens, you've got more purples, you've got more peachy red pinks. So you can definitely get distinctly different looks with it. And also you can sort of mix different areas and they all work pretty well. But I love the light, mid-tone and deep because I feel like a lot of brighter palettes sort of forget the really deep shades that you need to use to complete the look. Whereas this one has really represented that. So I love this. I think it's a great palette, nice quality, beautiful packaging, and she did a fantastic job. I'm going to talk really quickly about eyebrows. There's one product that stands out to me as being a good discovery this year, and they're by M Cosmetics. Now, I don't know what these are called because I don't have the name on them, but I have the shade Taupe and Espresso, which are Taupe is the shade that I mainly wear, and it's what I'm wearing today. Now, I did get my brows tattooed earlier this year, so I don't need to completely fill them in. If I am wearing a lot of makeup and I've put like foundation that's got in my brows and sort of covered the tattoos, then I do tend to still go in with like a pomade or a powder, but on just a everyday basis, I just put one of these through my brows. It's enough to add a little bit of color, to define the hairs a little bit, and also to keep them in place. It's not a super strong holding brow cream, but it does help sort of direct your brows and also emphasize the hairs. So I love these. I think they're really good. And what is awesome about them, so it's more of a cream product, like a drier pomade, and it's got these tiny, tiny, tiny wands on there. So you can just sort of really precisely put the product. I found that when I tried other tinted gels or brow creams, they tend to sort of just go where they want to go. But since the formula is quite dry and this is so small, you can actually go in and like mimic little hair strokes and really precisely put the product where you want to put it. So I found these to be the best sort of tinted brow cream products for me, and I love them. They're fantastic. But if I have particularly unruly brows, I do go over with like a clear setting gel because it doesn't, hold the hairs completely in place, but it does help define them a little bit, which I really like. All right, onto lips, and there's only 2 types of lip products I'm talking about today because these are the ones that have impressed me the most. Of course, the first one is the Kaleidos Cloud Lab Lip Clays. Now, the fact that I remember the name of that, even though it's a very clunky name, shows how much I love these. And I'm wearing one of them today. I'm wearing one from this set. It is the shade Dahlia, I believe. Yeah, Dahlia. These are beautiful. I love these. There's 4 sets available, 12 shades. You can buy them in the sets. You can customize your own 4-color set, or you can buy them individually if you wanted to. Now, I love all of these. The original 2 sets that were brought out, so this one, which is like a nude set, I think this was called Sandcastle. There's some beautiful nudes in here. There's like a orangey terracotta shade that I love so much. It's called Terra. Yeah, Terra, you are my baby. This is definitely my favorite one out of that pack. It is the most gorgeous shade, really, really sort of modern but flattering. Then in this pack, there's a few that I love, particularly the dark brown. I'm also loving the red. This is the one I'm wearing now. It's a beautiful sort of vintage sort of pinup red. But this dark brown called Mahogany is the most flattering dark brown. I'm obsessed with it. So I love these. The 2 newer sets I haven't used quite as much. There's a lot of berries, there's a lot of like nudie pinks, and a really interesting sort of greige plummy shade, Mercury Wave. This is a really cool shade. So one thing I like about these is even though some of the shades are a little bit unusual, I feel like they're super flattering. Somehow Kaleidos picked the greigey purple that actually looks flattering and you wouldn't feel weird wearing it. So I love the colors chosen in these, but I particularly love the formula. Now, as you can see, these don't capture the light much. They are a matte finish. And they almost give like a blotted matte look. They are quite opaque, but not fully opaque. But what I love about these the most is the fact that they're comfortable, but also they don't transfer. So this is a really unique formula that has like a silicone feel to it. So it gives the matte finish, not by drying down to like a powder finish, but by having a silicone effect. So it still feels comfortable on the lips, but it looks matte, which is really, really beautiful. But it also sets down. I've tried products like that before. Like a good example is MAC. They brought out these Powder Kiss liquid lip colors. The effect of these and the feel of these are very similar to the Kaleidos ones, but these transfer. Whereas the Kaleidos ones, for some reason, don't transfer. Once they're set down, they're set. They stay on your lips. So I can run around, kiss my toddler, all that kind of stuff, and not feel like I'm smearing makeup all over him. So I love the look of these, I love the feel of these, and I love that they set. The only trade-off is that once you eat something that's sort of quite substantial or like saucy or greasy, it does tend to break down, but all you need to do is wipe it off and reapply it. It's really easy. So I love these. I think they're so great. There is a trick to applying them, but I talk more about it when I review and lip swatch the more recent collection. So I will list that down below if you want to see more about how to apply these and what the formula is like. The other lip product I want to give some love to are more traditional liquid lipsticks. Now I've had 2 of these in my collection for quite some time, but by doing my Project Apocalypse, I realized how much I love the formula, and then I went and bought another one this year. So these are by MAC, and these are the Retro Matte Liquid Lip Colors. So these are your traditional setting, dry, really opaque liquid lipsticks that don't budge. So you can wear these, you can eat food and it barely moves. These have been great throughout a pandemic because I can put one of these on, wear a mask for hours and hours, and when I take it off, it's still there. I think these are really, really lovely. The 2 that I had previously were from the Patrick Star collections. So I've got a dark red and a nudie brown, but the one I bought this year was the shade Quite the Standout, which is this beautiful, vibrant, orangey red. It is beautiful, and yeah, once they're set, they will last like 12 hours on the lips. So I love these for if I don't want to have to reapply something after I eat. or if I don't want to have to worry about babysitting something. Yes, these are a little bit more dry feeling, but they're super, super reliable liquid lipsticks. So I love them. They're fantastic. I was editing the video and I realized I missed a favorite and I cannot put this up until I include it. So I'm editing this in. I discovered a new mascara, not new to me, but an old mascara that has like trumped all mascaras that I own, even like Hourglass and even like Lancome. This is the ultra black version, and I haven't opened this yet, but the one that was the original one just has the purple cap on it. So that's my favorite. This is the Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. My God, like run, don't walk. I picked this up half price, that's why I bought it back up. But as soon as I use up all of my mascaras, it's pretty much the mascara I'm going to keep repurchasing because it does everything. It like separates, it lengthens, it just is such a good mascara. I went through this fairly quickly because I just did not want to put it down. So yeah, this mascara, but the purple cap, favorite mascara of 2021, hands down, and probably 2022. All right, onto skincare, and I actually don't have much skincare this year. I think I've still been using products that I mentioned last year, and also just like using stuff that I had stashed away, and nothing has really stood out as being too amazing except for one brand. You probably guessed it, it's Paula's Choice. I rediscovered the 2% BHA liquid exfoliant this year. Now, I had actually originally tried this maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, and I was like, I don't get the hype around this, but I was in my 20s. I think my skin was fairly good. And so I sort of put it out in my mind and I didn't think much of it until I found a backup bottle back in my cupboard, and I thought, look, I'll try it. And then within, I think 2 or 3 days, it had totally changed my skin. It almost felt like every morning I woke up and I had had a facial. Like my skin felt so much softer. I didn't feel any like much texture. It was just so smooth, like you've just had microdermabrasion. I saw such a dramatic improvement in my skin that this is my backup bottle. I haven't opened it yet, but I need to because I love this product. I got my mum onto it. She got her other friends onto it, and so many people have loved this. Now, if you are young or your skin's in really great shape and you've used this and you're like, I don't like it, maybe you don't need it yet, but try it again in 7 or 8 years. It might blow your mind. So I love this. I actually bought a whole range of Paula's Choice because I was so impressed with that. So far, there's only one other product that I'm very impressed with. The rest have been just good. But the other one is actually the 1% retinol. So I did try the lower retinol one first to sort of ease myself into it, and that really didn't do much. But this 1% retinol treatment with peptides and vitamin C is really, really great. It's the first retinol I've tried in the longest time that has given me the retinol uglies. And that's a good thing. So the retinol uglies is when you get like dry skin and your skin starts to peel, and it's a reaction to the retinol working. So it increases the cell turnover in your skin and sort of sheds a lot of the dead skin. And I actually got that with this, which again, usually retinols don't do that on me. This one did. So it's obviously strong enough and effective enough that it works on my skin. So I'm going to keep using this and keep buying it, because also compared to other similar retinols in the market, in Australia at least, this one is a lot cheaper. It's not cheap, but when you think of things like Drunk Elephant and Sunday Riley, those are so much more expensive. And Drunk Elephant, for me, it usually inflames my sensitive skin. So this one doesn't upset my skin, but it's also really effective. Last things I'm going to talk about are hair care products. Now, obviously I have cut my hair. I haven't actually washed it since I cut my hair. It's looking a bit shit. I'll wash it tonight. But I have been playing with a few hair care products this year. I will do a hair care video sometime soon where I want to wash my hair and use products in one half and then use the wrong products in the other half and show the difference, because my hair is very susceptible to looking very limp and looking very greasy and dirty if anything is too nourishing or heavy. So I need things that are quite lightweight and volumizing, but if I go too far into that zone, then it ends up looking too frizzy. So I have this constant battle of trying to keep my hair looking clean and also looking not too frizzy. Like, it's a big battle that I've had. But so far I've realized what works best for me is when I really thoroughly wash my hair with either volumizing products or clarifying products. Two products that I really like for volumizing, these are the I Want Body Volume Shampoo and Conditioner from 11 Australia. Now, I have also tried their treatment, so it's like the 11-in-1 treatment. I didn't love that too much. It didn't do much for me, but these volumizing shampoos and conditioners are really, really good. These are just like the travel sizes, but I've been sort of rationing these out and using them only occasionally until I buy other ones because I really like it. Another battle with volumizing products is that you can find the shampoo does volumize, but the conditioner does nothing. It doesn't detangle, it doesn't nourish, it just does nothing. Whereas this one does something. So it's not like it actually works, but it doesn't weigh down my hair. So I really like these. If I'm using just a normal shampoo and I want like a secondary clarifying follow-up step, I really have been loving the Uemura cleansing oil shampoo. I don't like this on its own because I feel like you need to use a lot of it to get like a lather and a good clean. This is much better as a follow-up to another shampoo. So you can sort of, again, ration this because this one's not cheap. So I don't want to like use 10 pumps to make it work. I just want to use like 1 or 2. So I use this like maybe once a week as a clarifying follow-up shampoo. And I find by doing that, it keeps my roots sort of quite oil-free for much longer. So I can get a lot more time in between my hair washes. So I do love this, but in moderation. This also smells amazing. All of Uemura hair products, like it leaves your hair smelling so nice. There's something just fresh about it and clean about it. It's like a nice, like, I don't know, citrus green juice or something. I just really love it. This is such a nice product. Then my main tip, my secret weapon that I discovered, R&Co. This is the Mood Swing Straightening Spray. I love this. I've tried a few leave-in treatments this year, and this is definitely my favorite one. Now, I don't straighten my hair, obviously, and this is designed that you can spray it in and then blow dry to straighten your hair. But what I find this does, if you spray it in quite generously, is that it doesn't weigh down your hair like an anti-frizz product would, because any anti-frizz product to me just makes my hair look greasy and dirty. But this keeps the lightweight feel, but it smooths out the hair so you don't get as much frizz. So this makes my hair actually look like, I'm not wearing it at the moment, but now I really want to go wash my hair and use it. It makes my hair feel softer and look less frizzy and feel a lot more manageable. So yeah, straightening, a lot of people are like, I don't want to go there because I actually don't want straight hair. This works really well on wavy or curly hair as well if you don't want anything too heavy. I think it's beautiful. And these smell great as well. R&Co, I've tried a few products since buying this and I like it. This, yeah, they all have such a beautiful, I would buy this in a perfume. It's beautiful. Nice scent, beautiful quality, love it. And last thing I wanted to mention is if I'm on like day 2 or 3 and I'm starting to use a little bit of dry shampoo or I've brushed my hair a few times, I'm feeling a little bit frizzy at the ends. I've been really loving the Uemura Nourishing Protective Oils. This is just a hair oil. Sometimes I'll use it after a shower, like when my hair is damp, but most of the time I'll just use it to sort of deal with a bit of frizziness and just to add a little bit of nourishment at the ends of my hair. So I use only a small amount of this, but what is great about it, again, it doesn't weigh down my hair. It doesn't make my hair too greasy because I can't handle that. And it smells really good. All of Uemura hair, oh, I love the smell of that. That reminds me actually, that smells like, I think it's the original pink. I think it might be cleansing oil that they redid and changed the scent of, but I love it. It's beautiful. Uemura do great things. So that's it. Those are my favorite products of 2021. Now, I probably did miss a few things. If you're thinking, Kat, I thought you loved blah. I probably did, but I might have forgotten about it. Or some of these things sort of outshone blah. Who knows? But I'd love to hear in the comments what your favorite products of 2021 were. Like, what's your favorite makeup? Did you have a favorite skincare product, favorite hair care product, or random product? Oh, also I want to mention, I nearly forgot, Sigma Switch. I forgot, I think that's at my old house still, but my Sigma Switch, I loved that as well. It's my favorite tool. So that was a product, I don't have it here to show you, but it's like a brush cleaning mat, but you use it on your dry brushes. So it takes off the powder products or the cream products. So you can use the same brush for multiple colors of eyeshadow, for example, or you can, wipe off bronzer and then use the same brush for blush and same brush for highlighter. I really liked that. It was really effective in terms of removing the product because the silicone really sort of grabbed the product, and also it was really easy to clean. Those normal Switch products made of that sort of sponge, they sort of break down when you're washing them, but this one I really loved. So shout out to that one as well. That was a tool I liked the most. So yeah, let me know your favorite products in the comments down below. And if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, because this is going up around Christmas. And I'll see you guys after Christmas for Project Pan That Palette, and Empties conclusions. So I'll see you then.